There is nothing called good content, bad content. There is irrelevant content and relevant content. The piece of content that you wrote will work in a certain audience, will not work in a certain audience. You twist the model by not approaching content first, but by approaching the audience first. So what you do a character profile, you do an audience profile first. Okay, my audience lives in 26 to 28 and it should be as granular as it can be.
Hi, this is Shumam Tiwari and I welcome you to this latest episode of Fireside Chats. Today's guest is a polymath who has worked on growth and digital marketing for brands like Filter Copy, Dice Media, and BetterHalf.ai, among others. He's also known for his startup advisory and growth models. He enjoys a vibrant following on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. He's none other than Sindhu Biswal. So Sindhu, hi, welcome to the Thousand Faces Club.
Hey Shubham. Hi, thanks for having me. But a big thanks for the introduction. I quite get super pumped when someone introduces me because I don't think so highly about myself. But yeah, thank you so much for having me.
We're really grateful to have you. So Sindhu, I just told our audience that you're a polymath. So let's decode that. How do you describe Sindhu Biswal in one line?
I think COVID changed me a lot. If I say Sindhu Biswal in one line is I don't want to die as a marketer, which means that and I don't also want to die as marketer at so and so company. And I'm just exploring my human potential. And every year I keep on rediscovering myself. So for an example, recently I came to know, okay, I can do video editing also by myself. I know sound design, I know composing, I know editing of sounds, I know photography. So every year I keep on rediscovering myself, my human potential, and yeah, that's it.
So I mean, Sindhu, your LinkedIn bio says that you did so many things at such young age. You mentioned video editing. You've learned music production.
Right.
I mean,
I started
at the age of 14, right?
Right.
So
Can
you give us a brief of that journey? I mean,
right.
Were you always that inquisitive, looking to learn new things?
Not really. Not really. If I be extremely honest, my gateway to music started from a breakup in my teenage. That's it. People get indulged in many other things, but I think I just got lucky. I met a person who was the son of a big record label in Orissa. That record label currently is under Z. It's called Z Kalinga.
Wow.
It's one of the largest record label in the eastern region. And then I just told him that, hey, I just want to sit with your sound engineer and I want to learn. The learning did not came from a perspective of the love for music, but actually to run away from the negative thoughts I was having of during the breakup. That was a very honest opinion. Actually, the decision around that. But then with time, I started falling in love for that craft.
Right.
Started just by I picked only one skill, which is called sound mixing, if people know it. And I was using a tool called Cubase that time. Cubase, Nuendo used to be those tools. Started with that, then moved to composing, then moved to songwriting, and kept on exploring what more can I do. But yeah, the journey started not from because I had no idea if I am that curious. Also, I was not that great at studies. I didn't like to study that time. But now I do love to study.
Are you a curious person now? Do you know that?
Yes, I absolutely know the reason. I think the reason is this, that currently I have the freedom to study whatever I want, not whatever the society wants or not what the exam wants. So like, for an example, I started studying three interesting subjects. One is called behavioral economics. One is basically Indian philosophy, which is called Darshan Shastra. And my way of reading is very different. If I am picking a subject, I don't pick Twitter tweet threads, neither blogs. I directly go to NCERT books first. The baseline I have to finish, and then I have to jump to conclusions. I started studying evolutionary psychology. I was also studying about justice. There is a big course of Harvard for free.
Wow.
So yeah, and hence I came to know later only, okay, people like me are called polymath. And then I was like, okay, I think this is the best description I can do, because it's very hard to put myself in one word.
Right. So, I mean, you sort of took us, in that journey that you made. So I think your journey is a testimony to your, I guess, whatever you've done so far. And music indeed comes from heartbreak, I guess. Where does the content come from? Because I really want to jump right into it. What kind of content interests you?
That's a good question. I think there are moods. If I look at my content consumption pie, I think at this stage I'm mostly consuming very nerdy content, and it can start from astronomy to astrology. So I just recently got, okay, so I'm in this phase where you have to find a partner for your life, and I got exposed to Vedic astrology, and that made me very curious. Ki, okay, what are these ganas in Hindu mythology?
Right.
How does the kundli matching works and everything? So when I say what I'm consuming, this is primarily different areas, nerdiness and everything, followed by actually entertainment content. But 2 years before, when I was with Pocket Aces, my 80% time was going into just watching web series, video, funny video content. But again, whenever I go to a movie, the problem my ex-girlfriends used to have is, I'm not focusing on the movie. I'm focusing on the sound, surround sound. Where is the sound coming from?
Technicalities. And
Technicalities of the
yeah.
of which now I'm fine. Now I'm not that crazy person. But yeah, I still feel the 90% of the consumption is around marketing, business, startups, psychology, economics. Yeah.
So, Sindhu, this is really interesting that you're not speaking that, very typical marketers lingo. You're
Right.
using, philosophy, you're
Right.
talking about NCRT books, you're talking about heartbreaks and all the things. So
Right.
does that make you, uh, is that how you stand out? Is that a strategy behind it, or you're just, you're exploring it yourself and you're just going with the flow?
Honestly, I'm an MBA, so I was trained to follow the booklet. That is my formal training. I think the beauty of me working in startups, one. Second, beauty of me working in multiple startups of different scale and of multiple industries gave me a big unlearning that whatever you have been taught in a marketing is absolutely false. And the reason is this: if you are marketing in US market, so you can follow a template that will work everywhere. In India, it will not.
Okay.
You in India, you have to understand cultural nuances. दिल्ली में लोग different behave करते हैं, बॉम्बे में different behave करते हैं. You will
Yeah.
not replicate the same model. People in smaller towns behave differently than people in metropolitan cities. Also, people who are not born in metropolitan cities but born in smaller towns and move to metropolitan cities behave differently, which primarily means that the job as a marketer is to understand the history of our own culture, how people behave, which is psychology and pattern findings. um, and you are dealing with humans at the end of the day. Marketing books do not teach you how humans behave. So for an example, if I'm on a dating app, if I don't know how a relationship work, which you will not find by reading marketing books. Two, if I don't know how women think, if I don't know what are the aspirations for a woman in the age of 27 to match with a guy, and what are the guy's aspiration to match with a girl, you will not find these insights in any marketing book. So hence I spend 90% of my time not studying marketing books, but everything apart. And it gives me a larger picture. So I think marketing is much more macro. Does it make me stand out 100%? Yes. I try my best to tell every marketer, if your time is going into reading copywriting, then you are not a marketer. It's a very micro vision. You can't think of a larger thing. The moment I will tell you that, hey, this is a new product that you have to sell in Mars, you will not be able to think that particular thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's not a strategy, I would rather say. I think it's a learning with time, with my age,
Right.
with things happening around me. Yeah.
So, Sindhu, how does a piece of content become acceptable to everyone? You just mentioned that the country, let's say just India as an example, so
Right.
diverse, and
Hmm.
you've built these massive brands like Filter Copy and all. So, how do you make sure that a piece of content is going to work for work with everyone, be it
Hmm.
a person who's watching in village or
Hmm.
Delhi or Mumbai in different cities? So, how do you create that connect with everyone?
Okay. So the first myth is I don't have to create a connect with everyone. I should not be doing that. So the first myth is, okay, let me try to put into easy pointers so that it is easy takeaways. Number one is there is nothing called good content, bad content. There is irrelevant content and relevant content. So when you think about content from that lens, you will understand that, okay, the piece of content that you wrote will work in a certain audience, will not work in a certain audience. So it's not binary. Now your job after you write a content is distribution part. That's where the majority of the area lacks. Simple. Let me give you some example. Why do you think engineering content work? Because India mein engineers is ज़्यादा हैं. That's it. It's just pure mathematics around that. If I create a content about which talks about relatability around people who are doing research or PhDs, will that work? 100% yes, but I will not expect a 20 million views or 40 million views because the number of people are also not that much.
Correct.
So,
yeah.
So this basic understanding of macro statistics कि okay, मेरे पास इतना audience है, इतने audience में से this much people are there and everything needs to come, which is a data centric decision making. So which brings me to a basic framework is you twist the model by not approaching content first, but by approaching the audience first. So what you do a character profile, you do an audience profile first. Ki, okay, my audience lives in 26 to 28 and it should be as granular as it can be. Matlab, engineering students is not a TG.
Right.
Engineering students ke final year is 1 TG, engineering students ke fresher is 1 TG.
Okay.
And when you do that, then you see this amazing series like, let's say, Hostel Days. Hostel Days is about engineering students in the first year relatability. Yeah. It's not about the final year because the central characters are showing first year mein ragging kaisi hoti hai, first year mein hostel life kaisa hota hai and everything. So the relatability will happen on the first year. One, the nostalgia will happen on the pass outs. So whenever we write the whole document, we put that into bucket. Okay, who will relate in this emotion and they will share for this reason? Who will relate for a nostalgia emotion and they will share for this reason? How many people are there in the nostalgia segment? Like for an example, if this year I have the statistics, how many doctors are there, how many medical students are there in colleges, and also if I have a statistics that how many doctors are passed out from the same college, I know कि okay इतने में nostalgia चलेगा, the crowd is this much and इतने में इतना चलेगा.
Right.
This profiling, deeper the research you do, higher the shares you will get and you will do a better job. But this ground level operation process and a documentation needs to be there, and that is the major trick or hack or whatever you say. There is no tool or an extension of Chrome that LinkedIn people keep on saying which will give you 1 million views. No, it's just at a falsehood that people propagate.
Right. I'm glad you touched upon, distribution, because we see that, in traditional setups, markets, commodity markets, there are traditional, distribution routes, methods, But when it comes to, content creation and distribution, first of all, let me ask you a very basic question. What is distribution in content creation? Because at the end of the day, is it about like the TGs that you mentioned or finding new ways? And let's also talk about video content, for example. Like how do you deliver that video content in a very efficient way?
Got it. Let's answer that in a first level basic. What is a piece of content? Uploading a video on YouTube is so people say it is a YouTube content. My answer is no. What you do is the piece of recording that you made on the phone is a piece of content. The moment you decided that particular video file .mp4 goes on YouTube, means that you actually say that YouTube में आपको better distribution मिलेगा. So YouTube is a distribution model, not a content creation model, which means you are saying that every other social media platform that you have, YouTube will give you better distribution. Ask yourself honestly. If yes, then you know you are playing the right game. If no, then you are playing the wrong game. Generally, the point of view is people create for YouTube. They know that it will give me 200 views whenever they start.
Yeah.
Upload that on Instagram. It knows that it will give me 2000 views. If you take them on a walk and ask them very, very honestly, ki, okay, dil pe haath rakh ke batao, ki, okay, if that is giving you better return on investment or this is giving you, it's a pure play mathematics. Ki, okay, that is giving. Then why are you doing this? You should have a logical goal on that front. So this is what you mean by distribution. One, you have a piece of content. Where are you seeding the content is the distribution, number one. Number two is a distribution strategy. There could be one strategy where you are saying, okay, I will create one. Okay, let's talk about this podcast. Let's say this is going to be a 40-minute podcast or a 1 hour podcast. Asking yourself the first thing that do people watch 1 hour podcast? The answer is actually no. Do people listen to a one hour podcast? Answer is yes.
Yeah.
which means now my distribution strategy is to find out what is the length of content that people hear to. In my experience, it is 10 to 15 minutes max, unless and until you are Alex Friedman or pretty big
Yeah, Joe Rogan and all.
Joe Rogan and all.
Yeah.
But they have built it with time. And let's be very honest on this front. US market and India market is different. You can't copy paste and think the retention will exactly be the same.
Yeah.
So what you do in India, you record the full piece of content. You will say that, okay, I will convert this into an MP3 file, upload it on an Anchor, and go to Spotify. That will be my full length. And on YouTube, what I will do is I'll upload into multiple parts. I will cut 10 minutes into 5 or multiple times.
Yeah.
Then I will create micro content of shorts. Instagram gives me reach. So I will redirect Instagram to YouTube. This is the distribution strategy, which means this particular exercise. So your content creation went for what, 2 hours. So this is 1 hour recording, and then let's say 1 hour editing, small. But this distribution strategy, कि okay, इतना कट होगा, इतने शॉर्ट्स चाहिए, redirection link कितना है, YouTube tags कितने लगेंगे, what should be the title, packaging, thumbnail, and everything is the major focus. So I'll just end this in a very simple note that if all the marketers generally used to follow a veteran called as oh shit, I'm forgetting the person's name. There's a very big marketer who always keep on saying that your content creation should be 20% and distribution should be 80%. If you have dropped the content today, next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, do not drop another content. मतलब consistency के नाम पे content मत upload मत करते रहो.
Right. Don't become a robot. Right.
Yeah. Don't become a robot. I think that's a very old school illogical philosophy that has been thrown.
Yeah.
But answer things very logically. Why are you uploading on YouTube? What is the end? What is the end game? Is the end game building monetization? Then answer yourself that what is that monetization amount? Everyone knows monetization is not that great on YouTube. Branded content is pretty great.
Yeah.
Then what is the top line that you're hitting? Because then you will feel burnout if you are not understanding how the distribution works.
Yeah.
Final piece, YouTube SEO must to learn. Without learning YouTube SEO, there is no distribution. You are just a content creator without understanding how the platform works.
Right. And, a recent example that comes to my mind on massive distribution success is Piers Morgan's interview of Ronaldo.
Right.
I mean, he created such a buzz with, some clips at the beginning, and then he released one part of the interview, then he released another part of the interview, then he keeps on, peppering it with tweets and, with his hot takes and all. So, I mean, do you think this is the kind of time scale you should be looking at? Like, let's say one big interview, 1 month, create these sorts of, buzzes and pepper the content with all kinds of platforms. How do you look at that?
I think one is, okay, let me give 2 perspectives to it. If person is starting from scratch, not on one channel, from all the channels, let's say you have no digital footprint, it is going to be extremely hard for you actually, because you have no channels to redirect audience. For them, it is easy because they have an existing audience to tease, and hence a teaser makes sense.
Yeah.
I will not upload a teaser because no one cares about me. Simple. So pick the channel that you have the largest distribution, understand that audience first there, and try to see, can you redirect that audience to your platform? So for an example, I have somewhat around 19,000 followers on LinkedIn, and some 12, I guess,
on Instagram.
11K or 12K on Instagram. I don't track followers, so I don't remember. I track shares primarily. I don't care about followers on Instagram. So I know my per story average views is 2,000, and at least 200 or 300 might click. So I know for a fact the moment I drop a piece of content on YouTube, my first piece of content, okay, theek hai, chalo, like basic math, 100 views will come from here. And then if I drop some short content on LinkedIn, some 100 views will come from here.
Yeah.
So my first piece of video will get 200. I will convert 20 subscribers. So I have made a cult following of 20. How do I nurture it and keep on growing? I have that basic mathematical model. This is how I approach. Teasing and PR and seeding content only makes sense if you have somewhere something, and hence there is a I guess I was checking out some YouTuber saying a very interesting thing sometime back, that do not start a YouTube channel if you don't have an Instagram following. And he took a very interesting piece of advice. What he said is this: there can be only 2 strategies that you can do at this point of time. Either start a YouTube channel and just do shorts. That's it. Nothing else, so that you build top line pretty fast.
Yeah.
Just keep on doing reels and redirect those reels to YouTube. Again, only if you have an audience there. But if you don't have, don't start YouTube. First start Instagram, scale the Instagram, and then move the model. Otherwise, nothing will work. You consistency ke naam pe, your YouTube will go into waste. You will start questioning yourself, what the hell am I doing in my life? But yeah. So thinking from this lens is a very tactical approach, which means you have to think from you as an entrepreneurship perspective, not as a creator perspective. Okay, today I'm in mood, let me do that. And that's what differentiates between data driven culture like Pocket Aces. My first job was that, actually. The founder hired me and told me, like, okay, there are everyone is a content creator at Pocket Aces, Filter Copy, Dice Media, Gobble. I'm putting you in the central team, directly report to me. You will overpower all of the senior leadership and force fit all the data driven processes, which is a different hard task. Yeah, how do you communicate with someone who is a star plus VP, 40 years old? How do you convince them to understand, okay, you should be doing that? It's very hard. But that's what the reality is to win for a long game.
And you mentioned your, following on LinkedIn, Instagram. There are different kinds of audiences. You track shares, not the number of followers.
Right.
So you clearly have established your personal brand. That's in place. It's evolving very fast.
Right.
So what's the difference and, relation between building a company brand and personal brand? What comes first? It's like the egg and chicken, I guess, a dilemma.
That's an interesting question. There is a problem if you, let's say, if I build a YouTube channel and name it as a company or a brand, it will be slightly harder to scale because humans relate more with humans. So and this is proven. This is proven, and YouTube teams keep on saying this. So for an example, if I have to, if I run a YouTube channel on my own name, which I do, it's called Sindhu Biswal, versus if I create a new name called as, let's say, Marketing Biz, that channel will be slightly harder to scale because people will not relate to me. That is one. If your strategy is I'm putting a channel where there are multiple faces, so there is no single face model, then it might scale. So for an example, there is a channel called the Big Brain Co. I guess it's run by Ranveer Alawadia. There is no face. So the production timelines will be shorter and your volume will be higher in that front. But every time anyone has ever created a channel based model, it has not worked at scale, because what happens is, let's say I'm working in a channel, I have my own cult following because people are related to me. The day I leave, I will take the audience with me. There are multiple use cases of that. There is Samdish who was working with Scoopu.
Yeah.
He left, he took the audience to his completely new channel.
Yeah.
Now, does it hurt you? Scoopu, 100% yes, absolutely. Yeah. So you take your IP with you. And there is a legit weird question that comes also. Okay, the brand and the company invested the whole years of building your brand.
Your brand, yeah.
Your brand by giving you salary. You were not paying ulta. So it's the best game, right? I mean, join a company, utilize their resources to build your own brand.
Build your own brand.
And then move to her new brand and start doing that. But that is what the companies struggle, where individuals will not struggle. That's at least what I have observed, and at multiple instances, at multiple scale. There is no right fit. But I think somewhere the algorithms everywhere support individuals versus personal brand. Like a CEO of a big company will get more engagement than the company putting that particular exact post. Let's say the post be exactly the same on LinkedIn. Right. The CEO will get the higher post on that. And hence, this is a revolving, and hence you will see there is a rise of LinkedIn personal branding experts, which is a big scam out there also. But I think the algorithm is also supporting the same behavior.
I mean, speaking of behavior, LinkedIn supports, very weird kind of behavior. It wants you to be seen as a, Correct. Very squeaky clean, you're next to Pope, I guess, in your integrity. So how do you maintain that air of, air of being Sindhu Biswal on LinkedIn? Because LinkedIn is really, full of fluff.
It's tough, actually. It's tough. Okay, let me tell you what the things I have not done yet and I will never do. Okay, I do I feel the pressure of sounding politically correct and getting more engagement? 100% yes. And I have been doing LinkedIn since 2016, content creation. And there is a massive amount of all of the jobs I've got from LinkedIn. 90% have been inbound. Bedrock was inbound. The current wherever I'm going is inbound. Pocket Aces was inbound. So there is a massive, and LinkedIn is not taking a cut out of that. But if someone else, an HR agency helps me, they will take a cut out of that. So LinkedIn has been very, very kind on that front. But every year you keep on seeing these weird trends. Like for an example, currently there is a trend going on, people posting random selfies, and there is no context to whatever they have written in the text. Is it working for them? 100% yes, because it makes people stop. Is it making LinkedIn and Instagram? 100% yes. Am I cribbing about it? Sometimes yes, not every time. What am I doing about it is I try my best not to fall into a trap of impressions. The moment you fall into a trap, okay, I'm doing 18K impressions per post, I want to do 1 lakh, then you will do that same thing. But I'm not playing the game of top line. I know for a fact, top line game will not give you monetization. Simple. The moment you are playing the game of 2 million, उसमें से सिर्फ 1000 लोग ही होंगे जो आपको पैसे देंगे. Are you playing the monetization game? I'm playing absolutely monetization game. What else I'm building distribution for? Free fund का काम. Simple. So my perspective always, I try to stay grounded by this. Ki, okay, I want to only stay relevant in the decision making community of startup founders, marketing leaders. That's it. I don't want to attract crowd of software engineers because they will do nothing with me. Will they give me reach? 100% yes, but they will do nothing with me. That keeps me, this mental model tries to keep me slightly away from whatever the chaos is. But that politically sounding correct wala post, whenever I try to write the post, yes. Do I use clickbait on the top? Yes, I sometimes do, not much. But then the whole post, sometimes in between, I try to sound more human. Like for an example, today in the morning, I upload a post about quitting my current company. When I wrote the whole post, it sounded very politically correct, like a CV. I did this, I did that, I did that. I was reading it once again. Then I said, okay, no, I want to sound more human. So I added the legit emotion. So for an example, I wrote that, okay, it's not easy to change jobs during these tough times. I cried once before while deciding this. This is one human touch. Then on the upper wala touch, I added that I think I have tried to gain trust of my teammates, but maybe I have failed sometimes. So these small things I try to do in between, so that it sounds very humanly and not absolutely I'm a saint. I did everything right. At least this is my framework. Okay, I write everything, whatever is there, I just go back and check and try to put nudges or something in between.
So Malcolm Gladwell, the Canadian writer, he talks about, tipping point. There's a book called Tipping Point. He essentially where you just go from 0 to 1, right? So what was that point in your life when where was that tipping point? Because I'm asking this question on behalf of, early stage media companies, which are really, struggling with, let's say, finding their tipping point, going from 0 to 1, that kind of in transition. So how did you find your tipping point?
Interesting. Okay. Are you talking about company or are you talking about my personal tipping point?
I mean, can you relate them both?
Okay, let me talk about personal tipping point and also the company's tipping point. Company's tipping point are on multiple grounds. There will be tipping points around hiring. You do over hiring a lot of times without thinking anything. And then when shit hits the roof, you are like, okay, this is done. Let me just fire people. And for no bad reason. There was no bad intent at the first place. You sometimes do under hiring and you grill yourself to such a point that, okay, you feel burnout and then you say, okay, I need to quit, which is also the personal point. But let me tell you one instance. The instance is media business is hard. Let me first touch upon the company's perspective. The media business is hard, and by hard I mean that you keep on churning out content. Primarily, people think that, okay, there are two models to make money. The first model is, okay, whatever the YouTube give you and whatever your Facebook gives you, which is penny. Because let me give you the real financials. The amount that you get out of YouTube plus Facebook plus Snapchat, let's say you are in the publisher of Snapchat, let's say, plus What else is there? I have not worked with Moj and everything, though they reach out, but I have not, so I have no idea. Combined, you will not be able to clear all of the salaries of the people. And I'm talking about a slightly larger team. That gives you a basic perspective that your earnings from the platform is not even a break even with your salaries.
Yeah.
We are not talking about marketing promotions and other stuff here. And if you're doing a web series, that's a different ball game, because then you are putting 50 lakh, 60 lakh, 1 crore marketing budget to make the web series a hit, PR, which is a crazy model. So then you have to bring your sponsors. Then you have to try to syndicate that particular thing to Amazon Prime, Netflix, or whatever. Okay. Which makes you think that, okay, there is a larger media business at play, which you don't understand. Maybe you need to understand how the syndication work. There is a lot of money that can be made from one content that you are. So people are sitting on massive inventory that they're not monetizing for. So that part of understanding is lacking. So what happened is, when we finished all of the inventories and all of the monetization was done, and then we are like कि यार और पैसा नहीं बन पाएगा इसमें, and then you are not having profit margins on every content, then you start thinking कि let's start doing more branded content. This is a slippery slope. The moment you start doing more branded content, your writers will leave, because they will say, okay, every time I have to kill my creativity, and try to do. If you do the writer's way, then your branded will not come. So there is a certain shelf that you hit, and then you are like, okay, let's shut this business. It's not making any sense, or let's go into completely different trajectory. Okay. I'll tell you when you go into different trajectory also what happens. There will be more money getting pumped in. It will be the same history getting repeated. Which means basically you come at a certain point where you think, okay, there is no money that can be made in a media model. And then you start thinking of other ways completely. And for that is the exact point where you are like, okay, whatever I have learned till now is wrong. Let me get someone else who will try to fix it. And that's exactly what happened in the past. That you are like, okay, sirf media karne se nahi hoga. We are sitting on a massive distribution. We want a slightly different perspective. Let's get consultants from outside. Right. And the consultants give you a different view. They are like, okay, you are sitting on a massive distribution. Why are you not launching your own D2C brand? Why are you not launching t-shirts? Why are you not launching kitchenware and everything? So at least in my understanding, what I've realized is the tipping point of the company is when you hit. There can be only two paths. Either your company is going to break, your people who trusted you, the early members, will leave you. It's generally very hard for founders to break because they are crazy people. Or you get consultants on board, and you take a call, and generally you add some extensions, and generally you do good. In the history of Indian startup ecosystem, the problem is, what I have seen is, whenever any startup ecosystem hit a tipping point, and we have multiple examples. Zomato hitting tipping point and moving to other business. Amazon hitting tipping point and starting doing pharmacy, food, everything that they think of, and now shutting everything. There are not great successful examples at scale wherever at any point of time a founder led vision hit a tipping point, and when they added extensions of the business, it succeeded. Like there is no there is hardly any great examples that you will see apart from Tata's and Reliance, because that is a different ballgame altogether.
Very traditional.
So I don't know how you come back out of that. I have no idea. So whenever I do get some consulting gigs where people say, okay, I want to pivot, where do I do? And I'm like, I have no clue. It is a very personal thing on the founder, because it can be this, that, okay, you started a company with your own vision. I can't imbibe a vision inside you. You have to come and tell me, okay, theek hai, this is something that I'm thinking. Can you do research and tell me what can we do inside it? I can't tell you what else can you do apart from that. And in this same line is also the personal vision, the personal tipping point that I'm talking about. You join a company with your own goals and perspective. For some people, it's money. For some people, it's learning. The problem is maybe you get carried away by your own emotions. That okay, bhai, ab ho gaya. Let me just leave. But I think with time, I have felt that I think employees leaving is not for their fault. I think the fault is of founders that they made employee leave.
Okay.
I was
It's a
of
damning verdict.
I think initially I used to think because initially when there were two people in my team, and this is 3 or 4 years back, and those people left actually, and then I got this bad feeling that okay, maybe I have done something wrong and something. Okay. And then I went in when I left the second company. Then I was like, no, I think it's me, not them. But now I think so. I have worked with somewhat around four startups full time, and approximately 15, 18 founders consulting and everything. Everywhere it's the same pattern. It is the founders. It is the managers and the founders. The only responsibility of founders and managers is to identify and predict if the person is feeling something wrong. It is their responsibility to fix it. But the problem is everyone is running after Excel sheets and numbers.
Yeah.
So you missed that part. And that's the difference between MNCs and this. MNCs put a lot of effort to understand, okay, what is the thing that went wrong and everything. But that's why startups break up. Like I have seen massive examples of early stage people leaving, people who joined pretty early.
Yeah.
20 people, 30 people, 40 people leaving at one go.
Wow.
So yeah, but again, repeating the same phrase, and I'm like completely shameless about that. I think if a larger team is leaving, if senior leaders are leaving, it's the founders, it's the founders and managers, or managers, whoever is reporting, and not the person himself or themselves.
Right. I mean, that's pretty hard hitting, I guess. And so, Sindhu, you're moving on from BetterHalf.ai. We saw the post, and I mean, clearly you're going to you explore new avenues. So, what new challenges are you looking forward to? Because I asked this question because you just mentioned like some people are motivated by money, some people are learning. What do you look forward to?
My money motivation is gone. I said it on my farewell to all of my teammates that there's a very funny thing that happened. Okay, let me put numbers. My first job was 5.2 lakhs.
Okay.
And I was 5.2 lakhs per annum. And I was like, yaar, MBA karke 5.2 lakhs, I will not be able to pay my MBA fees also. But I was like, nahi, theek hai. I'm liking the product that we're building. That is fine. 5 ka 10 hua. It was I was extremely happy. I gifted my mom everything. 10 ka 14 hua, I was slightly less happy. 14 ka 18 hua, I was slightly less happy. And then now I don't feel anything. And then I did. So there is a mentor of mine, Rohit. I got on a call with him, and I asked him, okay, do you feel the same thing? And he told me this interesting thing. And he told me in a funny way, tere ko moksha mil gaya hai.
Nirvana.
And I'm like, and then he told me in a funny way that money is helpful at a certain tak.
Early stage.
Early stage तक मतलब सबके thresholds अलग है. Maybe 20 lakhs is your tipping point of money, and after that everything is else. Now my things are everything apart from money. It is which kind of team I'm getting. It is am I learning from good people? How many people are around me? What is their pedigree? It is about the trustworthiness of the founder, how long the founder has been there. So there are, and every year, with age, this complexities and variables keeps on adding up.
Yeah.
So the current aspiration is only one thing, that I want to move to a completely newer industry where I have not worked before.
Okay.
So I'm heading to fintech.
Okay.
And the idea is I have no clue about fintech. I want to learn from scratch.
Okay.
So, and that's what I have been doing every time. So when I joined Pocket Aces, I had to learn from scratch the whole entertainment. I had no idea of media. I'm just very lucky, I would rather say, that industries accept me, because there is a typecasting that happens na, ki okay, theek hai, ye fintech walon ko fintech milenge, inko inke milenge.
Yeah.
I'm on a luckier side that okay, whatever brand I have built, and gives me slight flexibility ki okay, people are acceptable. Ki bhai theek hai, you come, we will give you room of experiment.
Open. Yeah.
They're open. Nahi to it's very hard. Like it is very hard on that. But yeah, that is the current aspiration, to learn completely new things from scratch. Is it scary? 100% right. Yes. But yeah, No, I just can't be lazy. I think that's the main thing. Whenever predictability happens, I get bored.
Yeah.
That's a curse to being curious, I think.
Being creative as well, I guess. Right.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. I think you are right.
And Sindhu, this kind of conversation is very rare. I'm not crediting myself, but you, because you have been so transparent.
Mhm.
Nobody shares, how much they have earned in their life and they're earning right now.
I have
I
nothing
mean,
to
this is a
lose.
very small example
Right,
because I want to connect it to, your earlier, the comparison you made, like the
right,
podcast industry in West is very different. We
right,
can't just copy paste it in India.
correct,
So
correct.
just last, verdict on Indian podcast scene. Do you find it broken? If you do, then how? What potential do you see for Indian podcast scene?
It is broken for sure. And let me tell you my piece of stuff and why it is. Okay, in India, everyone who has started podcasts is primarily around only one or the some other topic, and those are overlapping with each other. So majority of the people are talking about startups. Some bit of people are talking about politics, economics.
Yeah.
Um, there is a category of spirituality, religion, and around that. But the problem is, but let's say podcasting is not a new thing. Matlab, this setup is not a new thing. If I just download the whole radio FM ke playlist and upload it, that is a podcast only. Or kuch
Yeah.
nahi hai. They
On
have
demand radio.
massive,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
inventory massive hai. The point is, people are jumping without understanding the business of it. मैंने podcast तो किया. Am I doing it for fun? That's a different game. Like for an example, let's say if I just put my mic and just blabber whatever is happening throughout my day, that is my venting mechanism.
Yeah.
But I am not building a sizable podcasting model or something. There are what I'm respecting is this. There are some businesses like I guess FinShots who are using podcasts as a distribution mechanism of building a brand. They are doing great because they are absolutely clear in the model कि ठीक है Spotify में जाके हम बात करेंगे economics के बारे में and personal finance के बारे में, that will build a personal brand and users will come. They have a mechanism in place. Other people, wherever they're building, I feel the answer of building wealth in podcast, if you're just a full-time podcaster, is lacking. Example में देता हूँ. If you are sitting on 2 million subscribers, you should have already syndicated your IPs to radio FMs at least, because you can make massive money on that.
Yeah.
You should have a team who is just talking to Spotify's of the world, Amazon Prime of the world, and small startups by saying कि okay, मेरा content लो अपने platform पे डाल दो, it will solve your retention problem, and I will take a monthly rental fee, or just give me an upfront fee and take the IP, or let's go on the IP and everything. नहीं तो आप बस बना रहे हो, कुछ पैसे नहीं बन रहे हैं. मतलब I don't know who is paying the rental fee, how are they generating monthly revenues and everything, because in that context then I am making more revenue because my YouTube is 600 subscribers, average views I'm getting is 100. At every 100 I'm getting one client who is giving me an advisory. My monthly of advisory, let's say, average out to 30,000 40,000.
Yeah.
So then technically I am at a better corpus than anyone else. So
Right.
this mathematics is missing, at least in Indian industry. Foreign has cracked it. Because foreign mein podcasting is different. Foreign mein people are VCs retired and then doing podcast.
Yeah, you're right.
So and India mein aspiration लेके 18 साल के बच्चे podcast चालू कर रहे हैं and then they are talking about anything and everything. So which is also problematic when a lot of freelancers say anything, you are missing out on the trust factor. So then people start thinking कि this is right, that is wrong, and then but yeah, India mein I think business acumen is missing, which needs to be solved. I don't think it can be solved unless a larger incubator come into place. Like how did you solve a lot of MBA people moving to startups? You put incubators inside MBA colleges. The Sequoias and everyone started accelerator programs. Unless and until there are accelerator programs for media businesses, for content creators, run by not by random content creators, but actually run by economics people, business people, that is the only thing it will solve. But otherwise it will not solve. Like I don't, if a content creator is teaching another content creator, they are teaching the same thing in my perspective. It's as simple as that. Because there has been instances where I have consulted 3 large scale content creators, 30 million, 40 million,
Wow. Okay.
You have no idea. They do not understand anything apart from branded content.
Wow. Even at
And
that,
even at
level.
that stage, even at that level.
Yeah.
And yeah, the business acumen is missing actually. I think we need more accelerator programs and incubators, I would rather say.
Amazing. I mean, I hope, the Saurav Joshis of the vlog world and, the podcasters are not listening to this.
Yeah, they are sitting on massive inventory, by the way. They can just co-partner with a camera company
Yeah.
and build a product line by putting why are you thinking Mr. Beast is winning? Mr. Beast has moved to a D2C brand, burgers selling, amusement park selling. People are
He's raising money for his business. Yeah.
exactly. So people keep on saying, okay, he's raising for the YouTube channel, but the investors know कि okay, the YouTube channel is giving distribution to the offline business, and that's where the major money lies. Online में कुछ नहीं होता, so you have to build a substantial D2C brands and something. But yeah, like every vlogger can co brand with D2C audios and photography apps and cameras and co-build a lineup and take a commission out of it. But there's massive opportunities actually.
Wonderful. Sindhu Biswal, thank you so much for being so open and, giving us so many insights into so many things. I hope, and I know for sure that there are going to be many learnings for the viewers of this particular episode, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Just last couple of, rituals we make our guests go through. What are you reading nowadays? And would you like to nominate anyone for our show?
There's a book I'm reading, Things You See Only When You Slow Down.
Okay.
That's a very good book. That's a very, very good book. Yeah, that's I'm reading. I'm reading because I'm making a career transition to beach mein.
You want to slow down?
I want a Vipassana retreat or something like that.
Nice.
So yeah, that's it. Who I want to suggest? I think you should get Rohit Srivastav.
Yeah, he's Rohit. I think
You know Rohit?
yeah, I guess. Yeah, he's very funny. He writes
He is a
funny
very funny guy
status
and
on
he's
LinkedIn.
way more candid than me. He has super duper insights. I think you should get him on board. Because so okay, at least in podcast now, I don't think I will ever recommend a person with pedigree, because pedigree does not define one vocabulary, articulation,
Of course.
and how much transparent you can be. And
Right.
politically correct वाले podcast तो बहुत boring है.
बहुत boring है. सही, बहुत सारे भी हैं. You're right.
Correct. So that's why the name is coming. I think you should. But I'm happy to give a double recommendation to Rohit also. If you reach out to him, let me know.
We'd really, really love that. Thank you so much again, Sindhu, for coming to the show. And thanks to our audience for sticking with us. We'll see you in the next episode and hopefully we'll make it as fun as this one. Thank you.
No, but thank you so much for having me. I really, really enjoyed after a long time. First of all, the questions are great because it made me think. I have not been asked these questions because everyone asked me, marketing kya karna hai, salaries kitne bante hain. I was out of that by saying. But yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for being a great host.
Thank you. You're welcome, Sindhu. Take care. And cut. That's it for today's episode, guys. If you really liked it, please subscribe to the 1000 Faces Club and press the bell icon below so that you don't miss any videos from us. Thank you.